Bonjour, universe. Bonjour. Hope you're well. Hope you are in that tranquil, balanced state of mind that, say, people in Haiti or Malta might be in. Because that bonjour, universe. Well, hello, Haiti. Not that I've ever seen you. Hello, Malta. Not that I've ever seen you. But I know if we say hello to each other in your language, we'll be saying bonjour. Now, being an American, I obviously have very little even concept of where Haiti and Malta are. Did I just call Malta Malti? We're not that familiar. So Malta being in what I believe they call the Mediterranean area, and the Haiti Isle being what I believe they call the Caribbean area, makes me think that those two areas must have been taken over by the French at some point, right? Because isn't bonjour just a bastardization of bonjour? I would think it is. I might be wrong here, but since those two areas both say hello with the word bonjour, well, parlez-vous français? Or parlez-vous creole? Bueno. Me no. Me barely speak English. Pause. Pause. The reality of my life right now is as comic book as it gets. In fact, I'm so blasé as my own lead character today, I'm not even sure that I woke up. This could all be a dream. And if that's the case, well, I figure I should record my dreams so that, wow, if that actually worked, and I could play them back in reality, maybe I'd understand something about reality. Because reality's got me all fucked up right now. And I'll give you an example. I currently have 35 plus, I have $39 to my name, maybe 40. And my impetus to get a job so that I can correct my financial insolvency couldn't be higher. But my motivation to get a job, it couldn't be lower. And I don't understand that. Like, I should be out applying for jobs right now. Because I literally will have to become a breatharian. And that's something I really don't believe in. It turns out I'm one of the few that are capable of it. That will be fucking awesome. But am I really going to put myself into that position? No. Well, maybe. Given my motivation, I have to say maybe. So there we go. Reality feels fucked. I'm not even remotely under pressure from within about my current situation financially, which couldn't be worse. So, what the fuck? Which then circles me all the way back around to, well, if my soul knows that it only has to live for another 3 weeks, then what the fuck indeed? And I'm not trying to say that I'm suicidal or anything like that, but with this omnipresent sense of doom about some cataclysm that I can't escape, it's like it vibrates in the interior of my fucking cells. What do I do with that shit? I've never been a calamity-focused anything. I don't even... If the sun's going to burp out some solar flare that's going to burn through granite, well, you know how quickly I'll be able to say anything other than, wow, why is it so bright? That'll be the end. So send a 5 foot, no, it'll have to be bigger than that. Send a 5 mile high water wall across planet Earth. And the last thought I'll have as I realize I'm dying is, well, swimming lessons wouldn't have helped this situation anyway, so who cares that I was a shitty swimmer? Right? I mean, I figure I'm at peace other than burning alive. I do not want to do that. But the rest of the deaths, I'm sure I've had them before. I'm sure I'll have them again. So if this is how it's going to go down, it's going to go down. If I slip off the top of a 4th floor balcony because I was trying to change a light bulb, and my ladder that I thought was secure enough, even though it was wobbly, falls out from underneath me, and I tumble and crack my head on the basement stairs, well, all I can think to myself is, yeah, I deserve this. So at peace with death, I am completely, even my own idiocy in causing my own death. Life goes on. And yet, I feel like life has reached a precipice on which it is either destined to fall and completely snuff itself out, or about to arrive at a plateau of consciousness that separates us from the humans we used to be. It seems that dramatic and that monumental of a moment in humanity's progression is now. And of all the things I can tell myself from 30 years ago that I wouldn't believe about myself today, that is number one. Because to me, we're just the coincidental occurrence of random manifestations in human meat suits doing their best to not get killed until maybe a decade ago. And when I say a decade ago, that's when I started to realize that I may have misassessed some of the interconnectivity and meaning that the cooperative collective of humankind was manifesting and encouraging and moving forward. I started to have spiritual epiphanies that weren't ever something I was pondering. They would just hit my head like somebody had shot me with a thought gun. And then as I would vet that tangent out, it would just fulfill itself either through my dream state or through my real life. And then other things started getting even kookier, which I've spoken all about. It's somewhere in the past 480 something of these. But if you are someone committed to leading the best life that's available, well, when it's coincidental cosmic throws of the dice, then the best life that's available is the one that A, keeps you from getting killed, and B, gives you the most of what you want and need at any given time. And then C, as long as you're not fucking getting in the way of other people, then that's legitimate. But D, if you are getting in the way of other people, depending on what kind of way you're getting in, well, it's either fucking okay or not, or who gives a shit? It's fucking chance rolls of the dice. But when you come to understand that everything that's affecting the immediate surroundings is something that's energetically reverberating with you and through you, and then when you come to understand that all of these human meat sats wherein people are soul energy that is either doing as well collectively as it can or is being hurt. There are no other options. Well, in that circumstance, you feel an obligation then to not just fulfill that which you're capable of, but to do everything you can to lift and encourage the best in everyone. Collectively, we are only humming at the highest level when we all hum individually at our best. Anything that's denying someone the opportunity to be the best they can be is some retardant that needs to be withdrawn. And by all of us. And that has been the foundation upon which now all I do is walk into a universe to be kind, forgiving, and understanding of everything that's happening. Because in doing so, I can release the guilt and shame that people are associating with the circumstance in which they find themselves, so they can free themselves up to ascend to the person they came here to be. And that feels like the kind of thing that's worth doing. But going to stock shelves at Sprouts Market, well, I mean, that feels like something worth doing too, because then I can eat. But maybe I'm a breatharian. Who the fuck knows? Pause. Pause. All right. And today's the day that I have to get to my explanation for why I think I'm the worst American currently. engaged in 8675309 Earth's reality. I mean, as American standards of what a productive, achieving, responsible American looks like. I'm saying on those scales, I'm last. I am 339 millionth out of 339 million. And that includes babies that just got born right now. They're doing better than I am already. So we'll get to that. Because two things that I have to clear up from yesterday well, three, I guess. Well, so I've really become consumed with the idea that why does money exist? I'm having trouble coming to anything direct and of the same level of social cohesion and integration that money represents that doesn't ultimately fall on control and ownership. And maybe this is inevitable. Maybe once 7 billion of us are fighting over this territory called Earth, then without some regulation of declaring that, yes, we will come up with ownership and we will extend that to property and we will tell you, because of these contracts signed and these monies distributed, that this 1/8 of an acre of land is in fact all yours. Sovereign territory, you man, all yours. Someone walks on this property, you can shoot them and kill them, and it will be legal. Immoral, but legal. I mean, really? Really? It's that important that you can call this yours? Is that because we're afraid of everybody else? That you have to have something that you know is your fortress? I mean, put up the goddamn moat and get the cannon turrets aligned and find yourself some cannonballs and some Asian people that know how to shoot them with gunpowder or whatever they invented that turned us into the warring factions that we are. I do love that the Asians invented gunpowder so they could use it for fireworks and festival celebrations. When we got a hold of gunpowder, we being white Europeans, well, we just found an easier way to kill each other. Yeah, I love this stuff. Asian people rule. Sorry, got a little off the rail there. Try to get back on track and into the station on time. But which station we're headed to, I don't even know. So how could I be on time if I'm not even sure where I'm going? I'm always on time because being late, well, according to what? Seriously, according to what? The planet Jupiter's orbit? I'm not late at all. I'm right on time. So I don't know what clock you keep, but I keep the one by Jupiter's orbit. And on that note, yeah, more weed. I'm almost out of weed. Like, I will run out in the next 3 days. Do you know what kind of angst that causes me? A lot more than that jobless shit. Pause. Unpause. But if I'm being fair, and if anything, I am always trying to be fair, I have to take a little self-flagellation in this moment for what I can only describe as a nonsense-driven, illogically conceived, and poorly concluded attempt to do this already once. And I got really sidetracked in the obligations that money creates in ownership and in owning our politicians and Israel. And if you're someone outside of America, even if you're someone inside America, because we got a lot of ignorance bubbles that need to be popped inside our country. But for those of you outside our country who have all the reason in the world to not know this, well, when we in America send someone to Washington to represent us, the people in Washington are so overwhelmed and frankly peppered with interests of every variety you can think of in terms of someone deciding that the government needs to help me here. Well, we help that situation become manageable by allowing what are called lobbyists to argue on behalf of certain legislation that has interests at the public level. And these lobbyists have so much sway in Washington that usually they are the very politicians themselves who have served, who now have contacts inside the system that allow them to use that personal connection to really move forward the interests of whomever their client may be. And the churn of this situation is one of the things that's really not good for America. But this static and snot alone would be enough to think about reforming our situation. But what we've also done is, like foreign agents say France or Chad or, and not Chad the dude, but Chad the country. Well, okay, we'll move away from Chad. Czechoslovakia, France, Angola, New Zealand, I don't know about them, but Nepal, I don't know about South America. We got a pretty strong. Okay, we'll say for now Argentina. Okay, countries like this, they are limited in the amount of influence we will let them have financially in our current governmental system. In other words, if you want to back a candidate from Argentina for president, well, I think you can send in as much as $1,000, but that's it. Because really the elections and the support that we are allowed to have infinite sway come from within. Because if I want to send that candidate $1 million, that's fine. And I can do it every day. But you can't. And foreign designated entities are limited, as they should be, in our internal domestic leadership and government decision making. But not that they're excluded, they're just limited. Unless they're Israel. Because Israel, we have, for whatever reason, determined is not a foreign agent. We treat them like a billionaire in Seattle who just can't stop thinking how great it will be to get this person elected. No, Israel has unlimited access to our politicians. And given their propensity to either buy their way through or blackmail their way under, well, they own everybody. They own every single politician. Because if you don't say and do what Israel asks you to say and do in our political leadership structure, they do what's called primary your ass. In other words, the next time that you and your term of service are up, they will bring in a candidate and back them 10 times the funding that you can come up with in your re-election campaign and take you out of office. And if, let's say, you were impervious to that because you have a 97% election rate, well, that doesn't happen in America, but let's pretend that that could. That you were such a popular entrenched candidate that the people that you represented were so behind you that you knew you could do what was right in Washington with no recrimination from your electorate body because they were going to send you back the next time and the next time and the next time. If you had this sort of information, well then I can only imagine, and I'm imagining, but I can only imagine how much time Jeffrey Epstein would have been spent trying to get you down to his island. Because if you're going to win this game, there's two ways to do it. There's the dirty way, and then there's the dirtier way. And since that's the situation we're in, to expect some sort of epiphany from within that the American populace can find its soul and come correct about all of our misapplications in terms of foreign outreach? Well, I mean, first you're going to have to get us off that Epstein Island, you know what I'm saying? Pause. Pause. And again, hey, politicians. Hey, fucksticks. If, for any reason, the ether is promoting this message to you in a way that you actually receive it, here's the thing. I could have been any single one of you. I could so have turned into the AIPAC bitch on Capitol Hill. It would have been until 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been my destiny. It would have been so easy to get me to conform that I don't want you to think for a second I don't understand your position. But I only want to ask you if, with all of the entanglement and suffocation you've suffered in your ascendancy to these leadership positions, don't you want to live the soul-springing life that sends it completely into the trajectory of the ethereal? Because you're in a position to do it. Much like those internal CIA decision makers, those of you with the real influence have the opportunity to soul shine more than any life has on earth ever. To me, what I don't understand is with that opportunity sitting right in front of you, why hasn't one of you come correct? It just takes one. And you become the transformative figure in history. Or you keep sending weapons to Israel and the Ukraine and somewhere in Asia and somewhere else in the Middle East and somewhere probably on Australia. Pause. Unpause. All right, I would like to apologize, not to you politician fucksticks, but no, for creating that scenario of falling off a ladder, somehow breaking my neck on the basement stairs from 4-foot balcony compromise tripping position. Having watched Anatomy of a Fall, which I assume everyone listening to this has watched Anatomy of a Fall. Otherwise, why are you listening to this? Are you fucking kidding me? Go watch Anatomy of a Fall. Seriously, I don't care if you don't like French movies. Half the movie's in English. And the half that's in French you can kind of figure out without even looking at the subtitles, but fucking learn to read simultaneously and expand your mind in what is one of the most contemplative movies I've ever seen. And that's saying something, because movies don't make you think. They make you regret having paid as much as you paid to get into this fucking thing. Not to mention, this popcorn was $9. It's a small. I got $1 back in change from a small popcorn and a $10 bill? Fuck, this movie better be good. Pause. Pause. So, my point is, if you have seen that movie, then that would aggravate you even more that I set up some sort of falling scenario that, honestly, I can't even envision what that space would look like that would enable what I described to occur, unless it was just like one big central open space in which to fall all the way from top to bottom, and you happen to have a 4-story house with a basement, so, I mean, see what I'm saying? So I'm really sorry for that. But, not expecting anyone as dirty or filthy or contaminated in soul spirit as a politician in America to come correct. Well, hey, CIA. Come on, CIA. I know there's so many of you in there that are just great people who, for reasons that are both legitimate and unfortunate, have turned their worldview into one of us and everybody else. And us may be as small a team as you and your nuclear family. And for those of you who don't even have that, well, us could just be you. But whichever version of us you're living in, the you, the power of you, the escalation, the elevation of you, could change history. You're the ones that I truly believe are here to save the world. But I could be wrong. Hell, it could be me. Fuck, that's how badly I read shit these days. Maybe it's me. No, probably not. Pause. Pause, but could it be you? Listener? Random listener? Well, of course it could. Because the one thing I know about the random listener is they do not love themselves enough. Nope. There's not one of you listening who's at the enlightened level that allows your cup to say, it has finally runneth over. I cannot love myself more than I love myself now. I have come to know myself intimately at every level and love every cell that I'm composed of in this form because I am that lovable. This is the truth for all of us. But finding those out there who are already there, it is a rare bird that flies into that nest. Like, once for sure, maybe twice. But the rest of you I'm still seeking. And I don't count those of you who I've identified online as potential targets. Obviously, once I meet Lara Logan, there will be a third. But at some point, it's up to you. What kind of world are you willing to accept for yourself? One humming at the absolute highest level humanity can hum? Or one filled with the kind of discordance that makes you just hope today you don't die, randomly, through some event that you didn't deserve, or that you did. That's what we got, instead of what we could have. But again, I mean, maybe you're not here to save the universe, but maybe you are. I do like a good piece of buttered toast. Pause. Okay, so back to the apology for having done this one time and feeling like I conveyed a message that was so discombobulated and illogical that it undermined the points I was inevitably trying to conclude. Well, I'm going to try again. Well, you're sitting inside of attempt number 2 with me, so this attempt number 2 may not even be as well conceived as I had hoped, but it's got to go up. Because I, until now, have placed everything I record live. And rather than make a mess of my argument here, well, I'm going to allow that Sunday recording to go into the waste bin. But I did have a friend's birthday on Sunday, and since I really do care about maintaining friendships, well, I apologize that you are going to hear my Sunday birthday injection for my friend who is my ally. And that is as cryptic as I'm going to leave it. So I apologize for the next 4 minutes, but consider it a rewind to Sunday, and I'll be right back after that to talk more about why I am absolutely the lowest achieving and least commendable American. So, see ya. But occasionally when I'm feeling like I need to connect to the world at large for reasons that could be anything from personal to political. And today, the reasons would be everything under the sun. Where's that box that says all of the above and anything else you can think of for the rest of the fucking century? Because that's the box that America seems to want to check. So having to apologize for inclinations about the entire 21st century American enterprise in our attempts to, control the universe, I guess? Something like that? I mean, however you want to look at it, it's got megalomania at its basest form. This country, I mean, if you're not totally psychotic or 100% narcissistic, you're just not going to make it here. Pause. Pause. Fortunately, I have both those going for me, so if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere because I am a psycho narcissist. Pause. Pause. I mean, I was one. Kind of. I don't know about the psychotic. I was a narcissist, but I was worse than psychotic. I was a compulsive liar, which I haven't really spoken nearly enough about recently, so I might have to delve into that for an episode or two here coming up about how it was to navigate the world in a compulsion to not tell truths, and what it was like to withdraw all productive sense of self from a chaotic world that you couldn't help throw hand grenades into, and then to realize all of these intuitions were unfixable, or at least every attempt to repair a broken spirit left tatters of disappointment. Well, give up on the game? Sure, no problem. Easy, done. But then the game forced me back in. And I have no explanation for it. I do not have any sense of trek here for outcomes targeted by long-term initiatives, sinking back to momentum I developed at some point previously. No, I even now feel like I get dragged into more wisdom because I can't seem to maneuver myself properly to pace it at the rate I need to ingest it. It's as if somebody has an invisible lasso tied to me or is hauling me around like a 3-year-old on a leash and occasionally just tugs me forward and says, "You're going the wrong fucking direction again." And then I go, "Wow, yeah, I was. Look at this. Woo, woo. Thank you. Thank you. Now, is there cotton candy over here?" But my ridiculous path, my circuitous nature, my reconciliation of journey from who I used to be to who I am, it's as much a gift. It's as much a stumble into circumstance of considerable appreciation for what I offer the universe and receive from the universe now than at any other point in this life that I've been here. Except maybe when I was 6. Pause, no, pause. Well, it's only 9:16 in the evening on this, the 5th of May. Cinco de Mayo. And birthday day, my one ally. Sunshiny person that she can be. But why am I distracted about this? Well, because I probably haven't smoked enough weed. Smoked a little bit, but I'm thinking 3 or 4 more bong hits before we get back on that part about me being the lowest achieving American of all time. Or at least the one that's alive in this current reality. I think you'll see. I am the bottom of the list, and I'm alone down there. Well, I might not be alone. There might be my clones, but... Good morning, audience. For once, I speak not to the universe, but to you. If for some reason you're listening to this, in whatever format you are, there is a play speed adjustment indicator that will allow you to at least get to 2 times speed. Do it. And if you can't tolerate 2 times speed yet, you will be able to soon enough, starting at 1.75, 1.7, somewhere in that range. Once you have listened to 10 minutes of me at double speed, you'll realize how slowly I speak. And you'll just think, well, what was I wasting all that time before with, This is the one time I'm giving you back a gift that only you can appreciate. More free time. Something we all deserve. Listen to me at double time. Do something that you didn't want to be doing in the first place while you listen to me. And you'll knock 2 things off your list that are on your frustration list if you don't. Pause. On pause. All right. So now, because I got lazy and fell asleep. Well, now it's the 8th. Yep, it's the 8th of May, which means in 4 days, I'll have been a non-working American for 6 months. The shit adds up, man. When all you do is work minimum wage jobs, well, it's tough to go 6 months without working. It was really tough to go 3.5 years. I sold all my video games and lived off of the profit those generated, which was insane. But whatever. So, yeah, pennilessness in America is definitely a sin. One that will catch up with you inevitably. And if I don't start working soon, it will catch up with me this month. But that's just one of the many reasons that I consider myself to be the least appreciable. What would people's appreciation be? Okay, let's go from a different term. I am the one American who has 0 honor badges or earned patches for my performance as an American. My sash is empty because in America, if you're not a Christian, if you're not... Oh, wait, I forgot about the third thing I was going to talk about. Should I get to that first? Okay, I will eventually explain why my hypothesis is that Earth is in fact a Dyson sphere, and that we live on the third sun of a three-sun arrangement, one of which is blown out, but the other one, which is active, that we can see is the one we call the sun, and the one that is also active is the one that is the core of the Earth. But we'll get to that some other time. Instead, let's talk about Christianity. I am not a Christian. I am not anything. I have no religion. I have read the I've read the Torah, the Quran, and the Bible in a class in college about world religions. And I read some other old... in reading the Bible, I didn't read the King James Bible from front to back. We read parts of the Old Testament and the majority of the King James Bible, but we didn't read it all. But I've read things like Revelations. I've read the book of John, St. John. However, I've read Deuteronomy and some of those other obscure texts that I wouldn't even know where to go find anymore. But my point is, I've never attacked religion from a side other than intellectually and as a means of population control. So not only am I not religious, but I'm biased against religion as something that the feeble-minded get swept into. Because if you're not indoctrinated into religion in your childhood, the chances of you falling into religion as a convert believer in your adulthood is slim. It happens, obviously, but it's slim. Now, that said, in America, if you're not a Christian, you don't get anything afforded to you in terms of opportunities for leadership, because in America, they look down on everybody else, but they specifically look down on the atheists. So, even though I know that I'm now in touch with the sort of spiritual side of the universe that makes me believe in all sorts of connectivity between us, not to mention the value and importance of my life, spiritual growth while I'm here, I don't count any of that toward Christianity. So I still call myself an atheist, since I don't believe in God as it's pictured in the religious texts as we know them. Until I get evidence that that's who we're talking about, I will still call myself an atheist. Now, I may be the most spiritually inclined and mystically aligned atheist the universe has ever produced, but that's where I sit. When I think of my sense of God, what my sense of God is the infinite. It's the possibility of ascension that all life represents. I don't deny that drive from within exists. I know what a moral center looks like. I came with a well-developed sense of one. I know exactly what right and wrong mean and how uplifting it needs to be for this entire community of humanity that we all as individual meat suit sack wearing soul energy as it is comprised, it matters. It matters more than anything individually about me ever could. So, as long as you're willing to define an atheist with those terms, yes. There I sit to you, American Christians. How many of you Christians have read the Bible? I'm just curious. Because most of us atheists have. All right, moving on to the next one. If you're in America and you're penniless, oh my God, do they not like you? I mean, they just, what do you mean you don't have $5? Well, I have $39, but that's all I have. So to tell you I have $5 for you, I don't. I barely have enough money to eat this week. Bananas it is. Yeah, I live penniless, but I choose this life because A, it means that I am so not enamored with the dollar that I will never consider it something to covet. But B, it keeps me real. You don't need to be rich in this country called America, you know? And besides, how much money's enough? When do you have so much money that you don't take that next raise? When do you decide, now that I'm here, I have so much more time to go play kickball in the park with my friends? The life that I deserve is now here. How much time do you give to earning money that you'll never spend? Or worse than that, how much time are you sitting in a job hoping that the next raise is the one that finally gets you to the point that you feel like you've got enough money? It'll never happen. And so, again, if you're living in a state of meager return financially, then you just have to learn to live with the limited life that you can count on for, say, $1,000 a month. That's not impossible to do in America. It isn't fun to do for most people because they envision that the one thing that'll make them happy in life is to be rich, which is bullshit and never going to happen. I'm sorry if your current plan to make money as a plumber involves a $1,000 job where the overhead was $370 in parts, and then you got to pay off, the depreciation on your truck. You got to pay off the time you took to create the client. You got to pay off the secretary you're fucking behind your wife so she doesn't speak up, and then you got to go pay your credit card bills, and bam, what are you left with? $64. But then you stopped by and bought groceries on the way home, and now you're $4 in the hole. So I do hope that concept of getting rich and being happy in so doing, I hope that fulfills some Americans who are still dreaming that that's the ultimate dream. But I've lost that dream a long time ago. So again, if you're checking off reasons you don't believe in the American dream, I think you're starting to qualify as the least admirable American alive. And being a penniless atheist who is jobless, well, I mean, come on, that's a good start, right? All right. Now, I have always thought that the reason I am on planet Earth is to have as many interactions with other soul, meat suit, sack wearing entities as I can, because when we're not part of this, when we're not isolated in our own individual experience, well, then we're just part of the shimmer. We're part of the whole collective. We're neither doing nor receiving. We just exist inside that bliss, which is fine. But when you're here, well, now you got the energy to meet anyone, having an individual experience of their own, and sharing that soul energy between the isolation that it is to do it for yourself. Well, that's magical. And probably why unmarried, the next one on my list, will always be true. The idea of connecting with another soul energy to me is the whole purpose of being here. So the idea that I would have been a non-cheating husband? Oh, I don't know. I never believed in it myself. So fortunately, I've remained single my whole life. Because it's enough to jilt your girlfriend by cheating on her, but your wife? Well, that was just one level too low for me. So I'm unmarried and always will be. Okay, I put unskilled, which I don't know that I can consider myself unskilled per se, but it's not like I have any 21st century skills. It's not like I know how to code in Python. It's not like I can write a quick app for a phone. It's not like I can even take apart your phone and put in a new battery for you. I feel very unskilled in certain levels of technology in the 21st century. So I just think as an American, you want to be skilled. And the only skill I really bring is probably I make a damn good chocolate chip cookie. So that's probably my skill. That doesn't count for much in America. I mean, yeah, in Bavaria, I'm a royalty. But here in America, no. What are you, a baker? Will you make a cookie? Bro, you better get down to the trading lab and get some skills on you. Maybe learn how to put a phone battery in someone's new iPhone, huh? Yeah. No, I'll get right on that. Fortunately, being unmarried, I'm also childless. Now, I'll admit this is one place I've truly fallen down as an expectation for humanity, since a lot of us have fallen down here, and that looks like the biggest threat to humanity overall is the fact that we are producing less babies than ever before in humanity's history. Well, that just makes me wonder, how many people are really feeling the dread? I mean, I'm not bringing a child into this world intentionally, because I expect this world to blow up. Now, if my reason is the reason that everyone else has stopped making babies, well, that should scare the shit out of all of us. All right. I'm also assetless. Yes, I have very few assets. Now that I sold all my video games, I really don't have any. And that's not to say that I don't have the comfort of certain securities tucked away, but I don't have anything in my name that the government can come get. So, come get it, government. You want my $39? Take it. I'll figure it out from there, but you can have that if you need it. All right, and last but not least, if you live in this country and you don't have a criminal record, well, then you're not as low down as you can be. And if you don't have a felony record, well, then you're as low... Oh, good, I have one. I have a felony record. So having a felony record means that, you know, I mean, in America, that's not good. So I have a felony record. I have no assets. I'm childless. I'm unskilled. I'm unmarried. I'm jobless. I'm penniless. I'm an atheist. I am not a veteran. I've never voted, and I am unvaccinated. Can you think of an American with less street cred toward their American dream fulfillment than me? Nope, you can't. So there you go. I'm the worst of the worst. So now that you know that, you can see why it's all my fault. And if you're still listening after this, I really question. I guess I question the universe at that point. But hey, maybe there are people out there that are not achieving. Yeah, that's the end of this. I can't even finish this session. That's how bad I am.